Have you ever felt trapped in patterns that keep repeating themselves, as if you were living the same story over and over again with different people and situations? Or have you ever wondered why certain things never change in your life, no matter how hard you try, or how many different techniques you attempt? You've probably heard someone say, use mentalism to your advantage, think positive, but even so, nothing changes. If this resonates with you, know that you're not alone, and there's a much deeper explanation for this than you might imagine. It's not the mind that inhabits the body. It's the body that moves within the mind, or rather, within a much larger psychic field. This is one of the most daring ideas Carl Jung defended in his later years. The existence of an invisible field where everything is connected before it even happens. He called this the unus mundus, the one world. A plane where mind and matter are born together, intertwined through symbols, dreams, and synchronicities. Millennia before Jung, Hermes Trismegistus was already saying the same thing in different words. The all is mind. The universe is mental. And this is the first Hermetic law, and perhaps the most ignored by modern science. But what does this change in your life? Everything. Because if the universe is born from mind, then your reality isn't something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you. Those patterns that keep repeating? They're not bad luck or cruel fate. They're reflections of internal frequencies you haven't yet learned to recognize and transform. In this video, you're going to understand how the Hermetic Law of Mentalism works. But we're not talking about superficial positive thinking. We're talking about something much deeper. A coherent and conscious vibration. One that emerges from your most authentic center. So watch until the end, because you're going to discover how to break these cycles that trap you. Not by trying to control the external world, but by changing the field you project from the inside out. And if this topic resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. Here, every video is an invitation to see the invisible. Mentalism isn't positive thinking. It's vibrational coherence. There's a huge difference between simply repeating positive phrases and actually living in accordance with who you are inside. Repeating phrases is just mental theater, but living in coherence is true transformation. Carl Jung said that real change happens when all parts of you, meaning the mask we show the world, the parts we hide, and our deepest self, are aligned. The mask is what we show others, the part we want them to see. For example, it might be that version of you that always tries to please at work, even when you don't feel comfortable doing so. The shadow is everything we hide or deny, fears, insecurities, anger that you avoid acknowledging, but that influence your choices. And the self is the true center, like the core of a circle that keeps all parts connected and in harmony. When these parts are in conflict, your life reflects this internal struggle. Imagine someone who wants financial success, but deep down believes that money is bad or that good people shouldn't be wealthy. This contradiction creates problems that seem like bad luck or external sabotage, but are actually reflections of this internal war. Jung discovered that our unconscious tries to balance these differences, creating situations that force us to face these contradictions. Difficult relationships, recurring financial problems, or health issues can be signs of this. It's not punishment. It's the unconscious trying to get your attention about something that needs to be seen and healed. Living in coherence means your thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned. When this happens, you feel an inner peace that's reflected in what happens around you. There's no pretending or sabotage, but a unified field that creates your reality. When Jung said that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, he was talking about how the world reflects our internal vibration, not to punish us, but to show us where our harmony needs to be restored. True transformation happens when you stop fighting against parts of yourself and begin to integrate them consciously. It's like a conductor leading an orchestra. Each instrument has its function, and music emerges when they all play in harmony. Your unconscious speaks a language that your conscious mind doesn't understand well. Symbols, emotions, and energetic patterns. While you think and desire something consciously, internal parts of you, which Jung called complexes, act on their own and influence your life without you realizing it. Think of complexes as automatic programs running in the background of your mental computer. For example, if you have a deep fear of abandonment, that part of you might attract unstable relationships, even though you consciously want stability. It's as if this wounded part constantly emits a signal saying, "I don't deserve lasting love." And the world responds to that signal, not to your conscious desires. The self, which is your deepest and wisest you, doesn't just listen to what you want rationally. It responds to what you actually feel and vibrate. That's why simple, positive thinking techniques often don't work. They try to change only the surface, the conscious mind, without touching these internal parts that really run the show. Imagine someone who repeats affirmations about financial abundance, but carries a paternal complex that associates money with corruption or selfishness. No matter how much they visualize wealth, their shadow will sabotage any real attempt to prosper, creating coincidences that prevent success. Lost opportunities, unexpected expenses, poor financial decisions. Actually, here on the channel we already have some videos talking about how the archetypes of mother and father can play significant roles in our lives. If you haven't watched those videos yet, it's really worth watching them when you finish this one, because you'll be surprised at how many patterns from your adult life began to form in those early relationships. It's self-awareness work that can literally transform your understanding of why certain areas of your life seem stuck. Real change begins when you face these hidden parts, accept and integrate them. Jung called this the confrontation with the shadow, the courageous work of recognizing rejected aspects of yourself. When the shadow is seen and welcomed, it stops sabotaging your conscious desires and becomes an ally in creating an authentic life. Your life responds more to what you truly feel than to what you think you want. It's as if the universe had special antennas that pick up your real emotional frequency, completely ignoring what you say or think you desire. That's why self-knowledge isn't a luxury. It's a practical necessity for anyone who wants to consciously create their reality. Everything that happens in your life has symbolic meaning. Jung said that the unconscious uses the world around us to show what we don't yet understand within ourselves. It's as if your psyche were a giant projector, and external reality the screen where these projections appear. For example, if you always attract people who aren't emotionally available, this might be a sign that you need to look at your own abandonment wounds or your difficulty with intimacy. It's not bad luck, it's your psyche creating situations so you can see and heal these patterns. The same applies to problems at work, with money, or health. They reflect what's happening inside you. Someone who has chronic difficulties with authority at work might be reliving unresolved issues with parental figures. Persistent financial difficulties might reflect complexes related to worthiness or unconscious fear of responsibility. The unconscious possesses compensatory wisdom. It always tries to balance what you repress or deny. If you always try to be nice and avoid conflicts, denying your natural anger, your shadow might create situations where you need to face aggression, yours or others. If you identify excessively with being strong and independent, rejecting vulnerability, life might create situations that force you to ask for help or show fragility. This isn't cosmic punishment or bad luck. It's the soul's pedagogy. The self orchestrates external experiences so that dissociated aspects of the personality can be recognized and reintegrated. The person who denies their aggressiveness needs to experience anger until they learn to relate consciously to that energy. The individual who rejects their vulnerability will face situations that teach them to accept and express fragility in healthy ways. When you understand that your external reality is a reflection of internal dynamics, every challenge transforms into an opportunity for self-knowledge. Difficult relationships reveal patterns of dependency or fear of intimacy. Professional failures point to fears of success or unconscious sabotage. Health problems frequently connect with repressed emotions or unresolved psychic conflicts. Life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that emerges through you. A continuous process of growth where external reality and internal development dance in perfect synchronicity. Every person who appears, every situation that arises, carries a message about aspects of you that ask for attention, healing, or integration. Since ancient times, sages like Hermes Trismegistus already knew that consciousness isn't just a spectator of reality, it actively participates in creating it. The famous double-slit experiment in quantum physics showed that the simple act of observing changes the behavior of particles at the most fundamental level of matter. Jung took this discovery to even deeper territories. What you project while observing shapes not only the physical world, but also your symbols, relationships, and experiences. Every act of observation carries an emotional and symbolic charge that influences what you observe. For example, if you observe a situation with fear, you automatically project frequencies that can magnetize exactly what you fear. If you observe through love and trust, you create vibrational fields that favor loving and harmonious experiences. Jung called this active projection when we place our internal contents into the external world, and they change according to our energy. Imagine two people observing the same situation. A teenager coming home late. The anxious father, observing through the lens of fear, projects irresponsibility and disrespect, creating a field of tension that will probably result in conflict. The trusting mother, observing through love and understanding, projects growth and learning, generating an atmosphere that favors dialogue and understanding. Same situation, different observational qualities, completely distinct emerging realities. Your focused attention, charged with emotion and intention, literally selects which of the infinite latent possibilities will become concrete experience. It's as if there existed a quantum field of potentialities around you, and your consciousness were the instrument that chooses which of these possibilities will manifest. Living symbols, like dreams, images that touch your heart, or situations that provoke deep insights, possess the power to alter states of consciousness, and consequently, external realities. When you genuinely connect with these symbols, you create a bridge between your unconscious and conscious that allows transformative energies to flow into your daily life. The observer is never neutral. Every observation is charged with your personal history, unconscious complexes, and ancestral patterns. Recognizing this doesn't diminish your power, it exponentially multiplies your creative responsibility. When you understand that your way of observing shapes what you observe, every moment becomes an opportunity to consciously sculpt your reality through the quality of presence you offer the world. Sometimes we sabotage ourselves without realizing it, because of beliefs and traumas hidden within us. Jung showed that these traumas aren't just painful memories stored in the mind. They become frequencies that constantly interfere with what we want to manifest, like static noise in a radio transmission. For example, someone who grew up in a family where expressions of joy were interpreted as lack of humility or insensitivity to others' difficulties might develop a complex that associates happiness with selfishness. Consciously, this person desires to live with more lightness and satisfaction. Unconsciously, however, every movement toward joy activates a frequency of guilt that makes them sabotage their own achievements. The persona, that social mask we use, frequently creates desires that the shadow systematically sabotages. The mask wants success, recognition, and abundance. But the shadow carries ancestral shame, fears of visibility, or beliefs about unworthiness that cause coincidences to arise at every step toward the goal that prevent its realization. Projects are abandoned at the last moment. Opportunities are lost through distractions. Promising relationships are ended for apparently rational reasons. Jung realized that symptoms like anxiety, procrastination, or depression frequently serve as unconscious protection against changes our psyche judges dangerous. Social anxiety protects against exposure that could reactivate rejection traumas. Chronic procrastination prevents successes from activating complexes related to responsibility or others' envy. Depression might be a wise way the psyche finds to force a necessary pause in the midst of a life misaligned with authentic values. Unresolved traumas create specific vibrational fields that attract situations designed to reactivate them. The child who experienced emotional abandonment develops hypersensitive antennas for signs of rejection, interpreting neutrality as coldness and healthy boundaries as lack of love. This traumatic frequency magnetizes relationships with emotionally unavailable people, confirming the unconscious belief that I'm always abandoned. Healing, according to Jung, doesn't happen through eliminating trauma, but through discovering its hidden meaning. Every wound carries a message about rejected aspects of personality that need to be reintegrated. Abandonment teaches self-compassion. Rejection develops authenticity. Betrayal cultivates discernment. When you understand that your traumas are also your most rigorous teachers, you stop fighting against them and begin dialoguing with them. Self-sabotage ceases when you recognize that it always served a purpose, protecting vulnerable aspects of personality that didn't yet have enough strength to face certain situations. Honoring this protection, while developing new internal resources, allows the energy previously used in sabotage to be redirected toward conscious creation. Many people think that to change life, you need to control everything with willpower. Jung showed that this is one of the ego's greatest illusions. True power doesn't lie in dominating circumstances, but in aligning with life's natural flow. Control is born from fear. When you try to force specific results, You're declaring to the universe that you don't trust its capacity to provide what you really need. This energy of mistrust and tension creates exactly the vibrational field that repels what you desire. Jung observed that what resists persists. What is accepted transforms. The self, your wisest part, works through alignment, not domination. When you set a clear intention and then release the need to control how it will manifest, you open space for the self to organize synchronicities in ways the ego could never imagine. The right people appear at the right time. Opportunities align naturally. Obstacles dissolve or reveal themselves as portals to even better paths. The paradox of manifestation is that the more desperately you need something, the less likely you are to attract it. Desperate need emits a frequency of lack, which magnetizes more situations of scarcity. Natural desire accompanied by trust emits a frequency of abundance, which attracts resources in often unexpected ways. Jung realized that the self possesses wisdom that transcends the ego's limited understanding. While the ego wants specific results based on limited knowledge about what's good, the self sees possibilities that transcend these limitations. Frequently, what the ego judges as failure or delay reveals itself as protection or redirection towards something exponentially better. The art of conscious manifestation isn't manipulating reality through techniques, but attuning to the self's natural flow and trusting its capacity to orchestrate experiences that serve deeper growth. This requires a fundamental shift, from the paradigm of making it happen to the paradigm of allowing it to happen. When you stop fighting against life and begin dancing with it, you discover you were always a partner, never an adversary. The self doesn't force results because it doesn't need to. It already knows that everything serving your highest development will find natural ways to manifest in perfect timing. Emotions are much more than simple feelings. They're the language that creates your reality through specific frequencies. Jung showed that emotions function as bridges between the unconscious and consciousness, and directly influence what you attract into your life. Each emotional state emits a unique vibrational signature that attracts corresponding experiences with magnetic precision. Feeling true gratitude, for example, creates a frequency that attracts more situations to be grateful for. For instance, when you sincerely give thanks for something simple, like a smile or a sunny day, you create space for more good things to flow into your life. Genuinely loving yourself radiates an energy that attracts people capable of loving you the same way. The problem arises when you try to fake positive emotions while repressing negative ones. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They accumulate in the unconscious, creating interference fields that distort your vibrational signature. Denied anger transforms into chronic resentment that attracts unfair situations. Avoided sadness becomes depression that magnetizes losses and separations. Rejected fear becomes anxiety that anticipates and literally creates catastrophes. Jung discovered that repressed emotions shape the vibrational field silently but devastatingly. A person might meditate daily, practice positive affirmations, and maintain elevated thoughts. But if they carry unconscious anger against their mother, this unresolved emotional frequency will continue attracting conflicts with female authority figures in their professional or personal life. The key lies in conscious emotional integration. This means allowing all emotions to be felt fully without judgment, recognizing that each carries important information about unmet needs or disrespected boundaries. Anger indicates something needs to change. Sadness signals something needs to be released or mourned. Fear points to aspects that need protection or strengthening. Jung taught that feeling all emotions, without judging or resisting, is essential for maintaining a clear and authentic vibration. Each emotion brings important information about what you need or should change in your life. When you completely welcome your emotions, your energy becomes crystalline and attracts experiences aligned with who you really are, not with who you think you should be. Emotion is the language the self uses to communicate its needs and directions to the ego. Learning to listen, honor, and consciously integrate your emotions is learning to co-create with the deepest wisdom of your own nature. Observing your own thoughts and feelings is a powerful ability Jung considered essential for human development. This awareness allows you to step out of automatic patterns and consciously choose how to vibrate each moment. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to situations through conditioned patterns without realizing they're constantly making choices about how to interpret and respond to reality. Self-observation is awakening to this freedom. This can be as simple as noticing when you're getting irritated and choosing to breathe deeply before reacting, creating space for a more conscious response. The active imagination technique, created by Jung, is one of the most powerful tools for developing this capacity. It helps you observe the unconscious through images and symbols that arise spontaneously when you sit in silence and allow fantasies to emerge without censorship or direction. This technique allows you to dialogue with parts of yourself that sabotage or block your growth, negotiating with internal aspects that previously acted automatically. During active imagination, autonomous complexes frequently reveal themselves as characters with their own lives. You can converse with the part of you that sabotages relationships, negotiate with the aspect that boycotts professional success, or ask guidance from the self through wise figures that emerge spontaneously. These internal conversations aren't mere fantasy. They're active reconfiguration of the vibrational patterns that shape your external experience. Dreams are also a powerful form of unconscious communication, offering valuable clues for your personal development. Jung perceived that the unconscious uses the dream state to process daily experiences and communicate insights about directions that serve individuation. Keeping a dream journal and reflecting on their symbols helps constantly realign your vibration with your deepest truth. Daily self-observation can be practiced through regular moments of pause and reflection. Taking breaks during the day to ask yourself how you're feeling and what energy you're emitting helps correct course before negative patterns set in. These micro-reflections allow course corrections before dysfunctional patterns gain momentum. When you develop the habit of observing the observer, you realize you're not a victim of your internal states. You're their co-creator. Every moment becomes an opportunity to consciously choose which frequency to emit, based not on automatic reactions, but on conscious alignment with what serves your highest growth. Individuation is the process of becoming who you truly are, and Jung discovered that when someone genuinely commits to this journey, external reality itself reorganizes to support this transformation. It's as if the universe conspired in favor of those who have the courage to be authentic. The vibrational field changes radically when you stop trying to be what others expect and begin expressing your authentic nature. Superficial relationships naturally dissolve, while deep and nourishing connections emerge as if magnetized by your new frequency. Professional opportunities align with your genuine talents rather than just competencies developed through social obligation. Synchronicities, or meaningful coincidences, increase dramatically when you're aligned with yourself. These magical moments are like signs from the universe, showing you're on the right path. Thinking of someone and having them call minutes later, finding exactly the book you need to read at the right moment, receiving offers that fit perfectly with your still unspoken plans. These experiences aren't luck. They're natural consequence of a life lived in authentic frequency. The paradox of individuation is that the more you become genuinely yourself, the more connected you feel to the totality of existence. It's like sculpting a statue. Each strike reveals more of the true form that was hidden within the raw block. The unique aspects of your personality don't separate you from the world. They become specific channels through which universal energies can flow and express themselves in original and necessary ways. People in active process of individuation frequently report that life responds differently. Situations that previously generated anxiety begin flowing naturally. Chronic problems find unexpected solutions. Resources appear exactly when needed. This change doesn't happen because the external world has altered, but because a new quality of presence is being offered each moment. Jung observed that the self possesses wisdom that transcends the ego's understanding of what's good or bad. When you trust the individuation process, you stop classifying experiences as positive or negative and begin recognizing that everything serves the greater purpose of revealing and developing your unique wholeness. Life stops being something you need to conquer through struggle and becomes something you dance with in partnership. Challenges transform into strengthening opportunities. Relationships become mirrors of growth. Work becomes creative expression. You discover you were always co-creator of your reality, and now you're doing it consciously, in partnership with the deepest forces of your own nature. Silence is much more than absence of sound. It's pure presence where anything can happen. A primordial vibrational field where all possibilities exist in latent state before manifesting as specific experience. Jung said that the soul only speaks in silence. It's in this space that you connect with your deepest inner wisdom. Imagine silence as a tranquil lake, where the waves of mind calm down and true wisdom emerges from the depths. When you cultivate genuine silence, Not just external but internal. You establish direct communication with the self. In this space of quietude, the ego's voice with its demands, fears, and urgencies quiets, allowing more subtle and profound guidance to emerge naturally. Insights arrive effortlessly when the mind is tranquil. Solutions appear for problems that analytical thinking couldn't resolve. Clarity replaces confusion. It's like tuning a radio to the correct frequency. When the noise diminishes, the message becomes crystal clear. Being present in the now dissolves the two great sources of psychic suffering: regret about the past and anxiety about the future. Jung realized that both guilt and worry are ways the ego uses to avoid confrontation with present reality. Because it's only in the now that real transformation can happen. The now is the convergence point where linear time dissolves, and what the Greeks called kairos emerges, a qualitative moment charged with meaning. When you're genuinely present, there's no separation between observer and observed, between you and the life happening through you. This unification creates a vibrational field of such coherence that synchronicities become daily experience. Conscious surrender doesn't mean resigned passivity, but spontaneous action arising from deep alignment with existence's natural flow. When you release the need to control specific results and trust the broader wisdom orchestrating your life, you discover you were always sustained by an intelligence that transcends your limited understanding. In present silence, ego, time, and expectation dissolve, revealing the most fundamental reality. You're not someone separate trying to manipulate an external world, but a unique expression of the same consciousness, manifesting as everything you experience. This perception isn't a philosophical concept. It's a vibrational state that completely reorganizes your relationship with reality. When you vibrate from this understanding, every moment becomes an opportunity for conscious co-creation with the mystery you are. Life stops being a problem to solve and reveals itself as sacred dance, where you're simultaneously dancer and silent witness to all the music. The reality you experience now began in the invisible, in the vibrational field of your thoughts, emotions, and presence. Mentalism, as Jung understood it, isn't a technique for manipulating external circumstances, but the art of consciously aligning with what you authentically are, allowing this genuine frequency to naturally shape your experience of the world. Transforming your life doesn't require fighting external forces or applying magical formulas. It requires courage to look honestly inward, recognize the unconscious patterns that have orchestrated your experiences, and consciously choose to vibrate from your deepest truth rather than your most superficial fears. Carl Jung and Hermes Trismegistus reach the same conclusion through different paths. The universe is mental, because you are both an individual mind and an expression of the universal mind. When you grasp this truth not just intellectually but vibrationally, when you let it permeate every cell of your being, your life becomes a conscious laboratory where thought, emotion, and reality dance in creative harmony. The invisible isn't an illusion. It's the origin. And you, in your conscious, integrated, and authentic totality, are the channel through which the invisible continuously becomes visible, the mental becomes material, and potential transforms into experience. This is your true nature. This is your creative responsibility. This is your gift to the world. Every moment is a new opportunity to consciously choose which frequency to emit, which reality to co-create, which version of yourself to express. The power has always been in your hands. Now you know how to use it. If this video touched something deep within you, if you recognized patterns or had insights about your own journey, leave this affirmation in the comments. I create my reality. I want to know you made it to the end, and that you're ready to apply this knowledge in your life. And if this content added real value to your search for self-knowledge, and you'd like to support the channel to grow and reach even further, consider clicking the thanks button below. Your financial support, however small, makes all the difference for us to continue bringing this type of deep and transformative content. And of course, see you in the next video.